How does skills and knowledge create an impact on you? An impact which is truly long lasting, an impact which connects both skills and knowledge very, very deeply with each other, an impact which makes you understand what is the knowledge that you possess and what exactly is knowledge, and how can knowledge work like a foundation for you to build your skill sets that can take you places. Let's dive right in. What exactly is knowledge? The moment you think about the word knowledge, is it data or is it information? What exactly is it? The moment we understand the term data and information, a lot of times people use them interchangeably. कई बार लोग उसको ऐसे देखते हैं कि दोनों तो सेम ही टर्म है. डेटा और इन्फॉर्मेशन में अंतर क्या है? दोनों तो ऑलमोस्ट सिमिलर है, बट दोनों में अंतर है. बोथ ऑफ देम आर डिफरेंट फ्रॉम ईच अदर. व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इज डेटा? डेटा इन इट्स रॉ फॉर्म. जब हम डेटा को रॉ फॉर्म में देखते हैं, दे कैरी नो मीनिंग बाय इटसेल्फ. नो मीनिंग, नो वैल्यू. डेटा का कुछ भी मीनिंग और कोई भी वैल्यू नहीं है. हाउएवर, डेटा इज अ कलेक्शन ऑफ फैक्ट्स. Data comes in when there are facts. Like for example, when we are talking about pandemic, at this point in time, the entire world is talking about Omicron, right? And if you pick up any aspect, whether it's Omicron, whether you pick up an aspect of sports, the moment you say that this player has scored this, that becomes a data, right? And data is more like individual units. It's unit of information. Like for example, how a single individual has scored a certain marks in the class, or how a cricket player has scored whatever his score has been in the test match. So these are things which truly determine what is data. And the moment we look at this from an information angle, what happens when we club series of data together, multiple data points, when they are clubbed together, then that becomes information. And information is very, very powerful, because on the basis of information you can decide multiple things, you can decipher multiple things, and information also becomes instrumental because information can lead to insights. It is information which helps people across organizations, across educational institutions, to derive certain insights, saying this is the information that is available. On the basis of this information, this is what we think is gonna be the best case scenario. Like for example, let's look at a particular school or college. What's the average score of the entire class? Suppose the average score of the entire class is say 75%. That really shows that, okay, the entire score, on an average, someone may have got 90%, someone may have got 40%. The average score is 60% or 75% or whatever may be the case. You can look at this scenario in any walk of life. Whether you're talking about purchases, whether you're talking about a shop or e-commerce website, or from your own business angle also. In business also, a lot of times we have to deal with data, which is just in its raw form, and we have to deal with information also. Like for example, if suppose someone is in exports and imports business, and suddenly government of India decides to increase the import duty. Now that information has got very, very deep meaning, which means any future import that we are going to do on a particular line or on a particular category, हमको ज़्यादा टैक्स देना पड़ेगा. We will have to end up paying more import duty. So that's the impact when it comes to information. However, having said that, information हम जब भी देखते हैं, information is lot more structured, and structured information is useful for decision making. Any information that is structured can help us in drawing insights from that information. Like for example, if you are looking at structured information of an educational institution, say for example of an MBA program, when we look at structured information, we will look at, okay, there are 60 students in a particular batch. Each one of them have got how many months of experience, and hence what is the average experience that people really bring into the class. This morning, I was in the midst of young minds, and people were from different walks of life. They were all young students having varied set of interests. Now, if I have to look at it from an information angle, what will happen? People are going to really look at saying that, okay, this batch of students, this is the kind of interest that is typically coming in. So that is what people will really, say and derive out of that information. Now, when it comes to skills, before we get into skills, the point is, what exactly exactly is it? All that we need to summarize and understand from knowledge perspective is knowledge is primarily information. Knowledge is information which is always put in a certain context. And the moment you put the information in a certain context, it has the power to produce actionable understanding. हम एक ऐसी understanding निकाल सकते हैं through the power of that information which will help us in progressing, which is help us in taking the right set of decisions. So all that becomes the power of having the information and putting the information in the right context. Where does all of this leads to? Leads typically to insights, and insights is basically deep form of knowledge. You must have seen so many different reports of organizations, there are research reports. Where do all of these research reports come from? They come from a lot of information that the company has to gather from the market. The company has to interview people, the company has to do secondary research, primary research. A combination of all of these set of information helps in what? It helps in getting the right insights, and those right insights actually helps in deep form of knowledge. That's what knowledge is. On the other hand, when we look at skill, what exactly is skill? Skill is basically, it showcases your ability to do something. Different people have different skills. अगर हम general level पे देखें तो today almost every home always has need, carpenter, plumber, or say for example electrician. आप लोगों ने देखा होगा कई बार, whether it's on a monthly basis or half yearly basis, these kind of people keep coming in your apartment, at your house, whatever may be the case. Now what these people possess is maybe not a very very high level of literacy, maybe not a lot of degrees, but what these people genuinely possess is a very very deep sense of skill, because these are skills which are unique to them, because they nurture that skill through immense degree of practice. If I look at this in another scenario, very recently in the Tokyo Olympics, India had the first ever gold medal, and the gold medalist was Neeraj Chopra. The fact that he was able to pick up a gold medal is not something that he landed directly and he got it. It is many many years of practice and many years of perseverance and persistence that has made him to reach where he ended up reaching, and bringing that amazing laurel for our country and for himself as well. If you look at Harleen Sandhu, who very recently won the 2021 Miss Universe, now it's again many years of practice. It's almost after 21 years that India has been able to get something like this. How are these people able to get these things? It is because they are persistent and consistent in their efforts, and they're very clear. They got to be very focused on this. Anyone who's focused on building a certain skill, it goes without saying that that individual needs to compromise on lot of other immediate sense of gratification. That individual will have to compromise on lot of immediate needs that they might have, needs of pleasure, needs of entertainment, needs of probably having a certain kind of food, just to remain fit, just to remain focused. There are different levels of skill. The moment we look at skill, as I said, practice is usually the key to improving these skills. If you look at today any cricketer, you look at KL Rahul, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, MS Dhoni, anyone, each one of them have risen through immense level of hard work and practice. They all have had to compromise their early mornings just to go to the net and continue to practice, continue to up your game every single day, so that you are not only relevant today, but you are relevant for an enterprising future ahead. Skills also refer as the ability to apply knowledge to specific situations. So for having the appropriate skill, it goes without saying that the people need to have a solid foundation of knowledge. Only if they understand how things operate in a certain fashion will they continue to practice and up their game in those specific area. In a very generic manner, I would like to say that coming to office is also more like a skill. It's like a skill of self-discipline. People need to practice it. Suppose if someone is coming every day to office at 12 noon, suddenly one fine day the person will not land up at 9. It needs practice, and you can't expect suddenly a person to exactly be on time. Now the entire point is, you look at what happens every year in the month of January. A lot of people take admission into the gym and they pay the annual fees, because the annual fees is always discounted. But what happens in reality? They are not able to be consistent in terms of attending and participating in the gym. First month, first 15 days, they have a lot of josh, but what happens after that? They are not able to be consistent, and that consistency comes from self-discipline. It's a learned skill, and it can be really achieved through intentional and dedicated practice. And not all the soft skills are clearly measurable. And why they are not measurable? Because see, the entire point is that all the skills, they do not really have an accepted level where one can say that this skill, this individual is completely competent. It's like saying, why is it that one carpenter is better than the other? Why is it that one electrician is better than the other? So a lot of times it depends upon an individual's ability to solve problems, to be a critical thinker, to think saying, okay, what are the possible solutions that I may have to navigate through this problem? And what is more important? important? Is it technical skill and or soft skill? A lot of times recruiters have always expressed this desire that, when it comes to technical skills, we are more than happy to train employees. But when it comes to soft skills, we expect individuals to bring this along with themselves. How do you really teach someone what is the definition of having the right attitude? So I hope you have been able to get some golden nuggets out of the difference between knowledge and skills. I would just like to quote Benjamin Franklin, who had said a very, very beautiful statement. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. What it really means is, whatever you invest in your knowledge being the foundation to building the right skill, it is like if you have invested in your knowledge, it's always gonna pay you the best possible interest. Cheers, God bless, and bye-bye.